Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, CNBC News, and NBC Sports, AM 1050, FM 106.5. That's KCAA, the number one station in the IE, and this is the number one 8 a.m. show. And I'm so delighted that you're here. We are streaming everywhere, live now on Facebook, LinkedIn, and on my YouTube channel, where if you free subscribe, you'll get an alert every 8 a.m. morning, weekdays, and on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Podchaser, JioSaavn, Rumble, and more. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone. So that's why. And I'm so delighted that you're here for show number. I believe I'm on 816 or 817, but who's counting? I am so also very grateful to have with me my once a month very special guest. Her name is Julie Loar. She's the multiple award-winning author of 6 books and won 3 or 4, I believe, national awards. I'm going to have to update that. You'll tell me which one it is. She has traveled to sacred sites around the world, researching the material for her books and teachings. Julie has a BS in psychology and has done, and that doesn't sound for bullshit hockey, that's a Bachelor of Science. She's done postgraduate work, was a human resources executive in 2 major corporations, and has studied and taught astrology, tarot, mythology, and symbolism for more than 40 years. She will be talking about her latest book during the commercial break. But for now, please welcome back to my studio, Julie Loar.
Thank you,
welcome
Marissa.
back, Julie.
Delight to be with you this morning.
Always. I look forward to my once a month. It's every second Wednesday. So for those of you who are like, I have dreams and I don't know what they mean, then you can message me and I'll sign you up for the next one. And we do have someone coming on who is today's victim / volunteer. Her name is Majan. Welcome to the studio.
Hey.
Hey. Welcome. Majan is my choir sister at the Agape International Choir, friend, longtime colleague. So she's actually a past guest on the show. She came and did the holiday karaoke that I've done with only 3 singers. So, and she is a powerhouse singer, but she jumped at the chance to have her dreams interpreted. And so that's why we're here. But before we start with that, as usual, you know that I love to start the show with breakfast with Dr. Marissa and taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. So what that means, and we have 3 people, so that's 2 each. And then both of you, I'll let you have an extra gratitude. So 8 specific gratitudes at the top of your bun. And then we go to the 8 specific appreciations for ourselves so that we're not always looking for love in the wrong places. So that's what we do in the morning. So I'll start. I am grateful to have lost 29 pounds now since Valentine's. Wow. By Project Loving Myself. And part of the reason why I can do that is first thing in the morning, every other morning, I read the gospel according to Nike. And the alarm goes off at 6 o'clock and I roll out of bed and get ready for the gym so I can do that before the show. So I'm grateful for all of that project. All right. You don't have to go that long, but the gratitudes are specific. So, Karen, Karen, Julie, we were talking about Karen earlier. Julie, what's your specific gratitude for today?
Well, you tuned into that because my publisher's name is Karen, and I was going to top her off on the list because I'm very grateful for her, grateful for my husband, my family, my daughters, my granddaughters. I'm very grateful for where I live, which is a beautiful place in the mountains in Southwest Colorado. Grateful for my friends, my clients, and
okay, that was
I'm
10.
just generally grateful.
That was 10 right there.
Oh, gosh.
So that's okay. We'll do it that way. And then Majan, you top it off, and then we'll go to appreciation. So what are you specifically grateful for?
Oh my gosh, I'm grateful. It's so funny because I think around between 3, 4 o'clock this morning, I literally seriously got up and I started singing a song like, oh, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Just grateful to have a voice, grateful to have a gift and being an advocate, for the people out here and just able to just be successful in what I love doing. And you know what that is, Dr. Marissa? That's singing and healing. So I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful for everything.
We're singing that tune. We are singing that tune. And I see eyeballs rolling in, which means we have live streamers. Welcome to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. The morning show, a show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K words, no Kardashian talk, no Kanye talk, even though what's super funny is I've had since I cut back short again, I've had every other day someone says, you look like the Kardashian mom. And I don't know if that's a compliment, and there's no K words on my show. So I think that's pretty funny. All right, let's go to the bottom of the bun, which is appreciation. And the reason why I say the bottom of the bun, it's the last thing that you do before you go to bed. Normally, the last thing usually is in your head about what I didn't finish getting done, who done who wrong, who insulted me, what I need to do tomorrow. And then it's no wonder we cannot sleep. So in order to help you with your rest, if you start approving of yourself by appreciating who you are, I believe that that's the fundamental foundation of a happy life. That is self-love and self-approval. So it's not a muscle that a lot of us know, especially if you're a woman of color or a woman, or one of the 7 out of 10 of us who've had childhood trauma. We do not grow up with messages saying what's good about ourselves. We know what's wrong with us. So we're strengthening that muscle. So you do this at night, but we're going to practice right now so you know what to do tonight. I'll start again. I appreciate that I have no regrets about anything that has happened to me in the past. And for me to get to that point is a huge one. It's been a wonderful, beautiful, painful, and glorious journey of discovering that everything happens for my divine and best good. So that is my appreciation for myself. Julie, what do you appreciate about yourself?
Following up on what you said, Marissa, I believe I appreciate that I am learning to love myself in a genuine way, love and appreciate myself in a genuine way.
Beautiful. And Majan.
Wow. I appreciate what has come through me. I appreciate everything because I had a very traumatizing childhood, but I am so blessed that came through me for me to be where I'm at today.
Yeah, beautiful. It's not what happens to you, it's what happens for you. And life is way too short. Pain in life is mandatory, but suffering is optional. Yes. So thank you so much. I really want to appreciate both of you for playing along and having breakfast with me. That is your gratitude sandwich. Basically, because if you can't approve of yourself, how the fork do you expect other people to approve of you? So thanks for having breakfast. And let's get to the dream.
Oh,
Yes. So Majan has if we have time, Julie, I've been having dreams like crazy. And just to give a little background, I didn't even believe in the importance of dreams. People would come to me for coaching and they would say, what do you think about dreams? And I would say, nice, but really not important. Stay in the present. What's happening now? And then I met Julie. She was a guest sponsored by Karen Stuth with Satyama Publishing, and she completely blew my mind. And as a result of that, how many months ago now, I'm having lots of dreams. And just as a review, let me see if I get this right. There are 3 kinds of dreams. So Majan, in case you haven't tuned into her past shows, one is attaboy dreams. So they're encouraging you. Second is feedback dreams, suggesting things that might give you some insight about what's going on. And then third, and for me, most important, because they really give me insight into life lessons. So big, broader things that we're here to learn. So how did I do?
Great. Absolutely. Wonderful. Sometimes I call the feedback dreams the spinach in your teeth dreams, letting us know maybe we made a poor choice yesterday. We regret something we said or did, or it's revealing to us an ongoing pattern that we're trying to heal.
wow.
Fantastic. So I'm going to step back and take myself off so that you two can play a little. And go ahead, Julie. You have the
Wonderful. Well, and the thing I would also say at the beginning, Majan, is that usually 98% of our dreams are just a routine sort of filing of what happened the day before, and they're not really worth remembering. And so when we do remember one, and look to think about what's happening in your life right now. And so tell me a dream, or what is up for you?
Wow. I keep having, there's 2 different dreams. One dream is that I continue to see myself in front of so many people singing, but my arms is like just completely wide open. And so I have that dream. And I've been having dreams like that, but it feels so real. I feel like I call it lucid because it feels like I'm actually there. And then the other dream that I've had, and it's really weird because a girlfriend of mine called me and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to know that that dream meant that. One dream was, it was a little, I won't say it was just a little unease that I wasn't sure who it was, but I know it was a female, and that she was really, really struggling. She was very, very sick, to the point where I felt like in my sleep, in a sense, I was feeling that. It was me that was going through the sickness. And then I tried to like wake myself up out of it, but it just stood calm and still. And that was it.
And those happened at different, so the first one, the lucid sort of dream, you have repetitively, you said?
I do. Yes.
Well, this is into a really interesting area. And my sense is that it is a lucid dream. I have experiences like that too. And it sounds rather strange. I have a belief, Majan, that our spirits are sent to other places to work and serve while our bodies sleep. It happens to me a lot and now I feel like sometimes I'm sent like to the battleground, to the war zone in Ukraine, and help people who have died to move on.
Wow.
And you may be ministering, or your body is sleeping through your music to audiences that need to hear that healing sound and the power of your voice.
Wow.
Symbolically, if it's not a lucid dream, which it feels to me like it could well be, if it's not, it's constantly reassuring you of the power of your voice and what that means, not only in your life, but in the life of all the people that you touch with it.
Okay.
And strengthening you to have confidence in that.
Yeah.
So,
you know, one thing not weigh in the interpretation just yet, but what's the difference between a dream and a lucid dream?
Well, it's a good question. A lucid dream is said where we know we're in a dream and we can make a choice. It's a big practice in the Buddhist tradition, especially the Bon tradition, because they say lucid dreaming prepares us for what the Buddhists call the bardo, life after death, and that's sort of our capacity, learning how to choose to move, to change the course of the dream. And I loved what Mijan said about having her arms out wide, like you're hitting a high note or something, right? You're really projecting the power of your voice. So the difference, I think, simply is in a regular dream, some people just feel like they're looking at a movie screen and are watching. Other people are in it and moving and somehow know they're in a dream. And then other people just remember fragments and don't feel like they have any participation. And just like your journey, Marissa, where you said 5 months ago, you didn't think dreams were worthwhile. The important thing to say, I think, is that our psyche is a unity, and we are so much more than meets the eye in the physical realm. This physical reality is a small portion of who we are. We're alive and aware in eternity, right? Our spirits. So our capacity to begin to interact with our dreams and synchronicities, waking synchronicities, is teaching us how powerful, eternal, and the reality of our spirit.
Interesting.
That space is also moving through eternity.
Interesting. So going back to Majan's dream, you felt you had a little concern, is what I heard.
Yeah.
When
Yes.
you were singing, your arms were open, but you got a feeling of dis-ease that you went, I don't want to have this dream, so I'm going to come out of it, which made it a lucid dream.
Oh,
that was the sickness dream, wasn't it?
Oh, that was okay. So sorry, I was fiddling around with the internet connection. By the way, I don't know if you saw my note. Make sure your windows are closed on whatever you're on. There's something fighting us. So just so you know, if you have any other windows open, close them for me. That would be great, because we don't want to miss anything.
I closed everything.
Okay.
I closed everything.
Perfect. Of course.
Well, unless I misunderstood you, Mijan, I thought you said that when in the singing dream you felt really powerful.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So that was me. My
Yeah.
And so
I did a bad interpretation.
No, you were multitasking, and that's really hard. But it's a really important question. It's a really important question. And I loved what you also said earlier, Mijan, about in your gratitude and appreciation of how grateful you are for what's coming through you. Because, I've come to believe that we really are instruments in this world, and that we can be tuned for music. We can be tuned to speak or teach, or do the kind of work that Marissa does or others. And what comes through us is power, energy, love, light, whatever it is. And so it's my belief it's part of our job. And this idea of lucid dreaming is to know that we're really awake, the part of us that dreams, never sleeps. It continues to beat our heart, digest our food, connect. It hears what's going on. And so, ironically, it's the part of us that we think of as most real, that lives in 3D, that in a sense is the most ephemeral. And it's the part of us that's our spirit and soul. And that in a sense is the bigger purpose of dreaming, to have continuous conscious contact with our soul and our spirit, and the part of us that allows us to be a force for good in the world. As Dr. Marissa says, a beneficial presence on the planet. That's the goal. So does that kind of make sense about that experience?
Yes. And Majan, I lost your sound.
Oh dear.
Let's see. We've got a bunch of agape friends on the Instagram that I just put on, but I lost your sound. Hold on one second.
I can't hear her either.
All right.
How about now?
Yay!
She's back.
Perfect.
And
I put it on so that we've got Amy and Trini and Karen. So they're all saying hi on Instagram.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
Yeah. So
go ahead. I was just going
ahead.
to say, for the other dream experience, in a sense, that's more typical of the kind of dreams a lot of us have. And usually, not always, but usually, most of the characters or people in the dream represent an aspect of us. So there may be, if you remembered it, something that at the time you had the dream, and I don't remember, did you say that one repeats, or was that just one time?
Oh, that was just one time. That happened like 2 days ago. I had that dream. And I'm not a person that dream a lot. I hardly dream. But when I do, it's always lucid. It feels so real. But this particular one, I wasn't sure if it was real or not, but then it felt, does that make sense?
Yeah. But let me interject right now. Something that I learned from Julie Majan is we think we don't dream, but every single person dreams every single night. And it's up to, how many hours?
2 hours.
2 hours a night that every single person dreams. We just may not remember the dream. So isn't that interesting? Yeah. But to go to Majan's question, why are her dreams always lucid instead of the projector? She actually is a part of it. Is there significance in that? I would say it's because she's a powerhouse diva. And she's part of the power. But there may be another interpretation.
Yeah.
Well, I would tend to agree with that, because I think it's the goal for all of us to have our dreams feel more lucid. I wanted to make a quick comment, and then I come back to that, about the dream about the illness, because if you had it a couple days ago, if you look back to what was happening a couple days ago, there may have been something that caused you pain. There may have been something that made you heartsick. And so that's the importance of understanding that the dreams that we remember are typically a way for us to process something that happened in our life.
Yes, I was about to ask Julie that. I was about to ask you that because I had 2 significant transition. One was my foster mother, and it happened back to back, and one of a very dear friend. It was very unexpected. And so I was already preparing for my foster mom who raised me for her transition. I was already prepared for that. But then the one that really struck hard for me, to the point where I actually needed assistance, like guidance on the other one, on my other friend that transitioned. And so, I was going to ask you, did that maybe have something to do with it? Because I was still a little bit unsettled. And usually with death, I'm usually okay in handling it. But this one was different.
Well, it sounds like you did get assistance. You got assistance through your dream.
Oh, yeah. Just like a couple of days ago. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So Julie, you were right on with the, maybe there was some event that hurt your heart wide open.
Yes.
And you said not only one thing, but two things. So, wow, what a great connection that is. And if you've just
Yes.
tuned in and are going, wow, that's
Yes.
because we're listening to my in-house dream expert, Julie Loar. She is the author of many books, an award-winning book lately that we're going to ask her to talk about during now the commercial break. And thank you for joining in. We've got a whole host of wonderful people on my Instagram Live, as well as Facebook Live and YouTube Live and LinkedIn Live, because you're tuned into Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA. We'll be right back with more of Dream Interpretation with Julie Loar on the station that leaves no listener behind. Welcome to Balanced Tai Chi Gong. My name is Dr. Marissa Pei. For the next 28 minutes, we will be slow dancing with the universe in a moving meditation that promotes inner peace, one breath at a time. Just follow the sound of my voice and move with me as I guide you through this ancient wisdom through New Thought practice. As a corporate psychologist, I created this practice in response to my life and those of my clients. We were professional, high achievement-oriented, multitasking control freaks and exhausted. No matter how many successes, it was never enough. That, coupled with a painful life experience, led me on a quest to find another way to live and back to my Chinese roots. If you practice regularly, I can promise you that it will impact all health vortexes. Body, mind, spirit, soul. You will be in a place of balance and inner peace the way we were created. 谢谢. Be my partner, dance with me, just hold on, I will. And Julie, I would love for you to talk about the book that is out now and what it will do to help you with your dreams. Julie?
Well, I don't know whether you can see it. I'll just hold it up briefly with 3 of the 6 national awards it's won. And it's a book I wish I would have had 40 years ago when I first started out in this process, learning to work with dreams and understand symbols. And so when the pandemic happened, as Dr. Marissa said, pandemic possibilities and post-pandemic possibilities, I got up every day to write the book. And one dream revealed a powerful 7-step process that's easy to work with dreams and learn how to do it. And that process is outlined completely in the book, and anyone can learn how to do it. The process is there. We can talk about it. 7 steps. And the first one is to get it down, maybe give it a title, and choose the powerful symbols. Then later on in the process to reflect on what the symbols might mean, and then at the end to maybe make a commitment for one small change, some small thing you might be able to do to change what happens in your life. And our guest Mijan, I think, was illustrative of what can happen when you work with your dreams, and she seems to me someone who already is really connected.
Great. And Julie, let me just come back into the official part of the show. I was just giving you a minute to commercialize your book, which is available where?
Available with my publisher and Dr. Marissa's publisher as well, satyama.com, SATIAMA.com, also on Amazon or wherever books are sold. Symbol and Synchronicity.
symbol and synchronicity. And just a little correction, she's actually not my publisher. Morgan James is, and I'll get an angry call if I don't correct that.
Sorry.
But Karen was my editor. So that is I am grateful for her for that. All right.
Gosh, I'm sorry about that mistake.
No worries. No worries.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, NBC Sports Radio Station, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and on my YouTube channel, which is really the central hub. If you've missed any of my 816 shows over the past 9.5 years, 470 consecutive weeks, but who's counting? And they said that a show about what's right with the world would not last. And I'm so glad to report to you that they're wrong. I am grateful that I am still here splattering more hope and happiness and with wonderful topics and guests, and today is no exception. Also, if you would like to see or hear my interviews with some amazing people on the planet, Halle Berry, John Travolta, Quincy Jones, The Temptations, Jimmy Fallon lately, some amazing guests on my show, Corey Feldman, Fran Drescher, talking about reducing your risk of cancer. Lots of really interesting people. Just go to my YouTube channel, free subscribe, and you can watch those there. And today, we're back on with my once a month, every second Wednesday of the month is Julie Loar. She is my staff resident dream expert interpreter. And today's victim, volunteer, who jumped at the chance to get her dreams analyzed and help her. We just saw before the break how Julie was able to ask from her dream, was there anything going on? And absolutely. And Majan, I am sorry for your loss, which is what we usually say, but you and I both know that there's nothing really to be sorry about, because they are still in what Julie calls the true part of ourselves, which is eternity, and that we're just the glove that is waving in life. That's how I see it. And we're, playing in this thing called life in our bodies as the physical being that we are. So, that one particular dream, and Julie was saying, before I wanted to come back in, what should Majan do now, knowing that there is importance in these dreams that she's having? How can these dreams, would you say that was a feedback dream? Was it an attaboy dream? Was it a life lesson dream? What can Majan do with this information?
That's a really great question, and I'm really glad you asked it. And I don't know the answer to the second part of the question. And as I was just mentioning, I think briefly in the break, I think, Majan, that you've already done an enormous amount of work on your own consciousness, and you're connected in a way that a lot of people are not. So you already have a through line, as some people might say, to the part of you that lives in eternity. I love the idea of a glove. I often think of us in lifetimes like actors in a play. You mentioned Halle Berry, John Travolta, people who played many roles. And for the time when they're acting out a role, they're really there. They take on the persona of who that is. And that's what we do in a lifetime. But the part of us that's eternal is keeping track of all of that and integrating it outside of what we call time and space. I believe, Majan, that you're more connected to that reality of yourself. So the answer to the specific question, I always highly recommend keeping a journal, keeping track of the day and the time, and you might give those series of dreams a title like solo performance or going out on a high note. I'm making this up. It has to be yours. It has to be whatever works for you. And you might want to include with it a picture of yourself performing or something, and just allow your own wisdom self to be speaking to you about what else you need to learn. Should you be making YouTubes, for example? Should you be doing something with this talent that you have, that you're dreaming about? Are you recording? I mean, what else needs to come out of you that isn't yet? You're part of a choir, and so only you can answer those questions. Those are just questions that I would ask you. But the journal and paying attention and asking for more information would be the next step. Fabulous question, Marissa. And
Thank you.
Wow.
And Majan, I'm just
Wow.
watching your facial expressions and what I do know about Majan. Okay, what's your reaction, Majan?
Oh my gosh. I'm like, oh my, she's hitting it. She's right on it. Because I just recently got, well, I've raised my youngest children. My youngest is 17 years old. And I was saying how I was really manifesting to get back in touring, and sure enough, that's what's happening right now. I just been scheduled. Starting February, I will be going back to Italy and performing, and it's where a lot of my singles, I've done quite a few records I recorded. I do have another single coming out, and I have a clothing line that's getting ready to be released. So yes. So I'm really
look at her face.
I know she started doing that when you were talking,
right,
which was really like that. If that isn't a dream inspiring action, and that's what one of the things that I love about my discovery, not accidental, hashtag #accidental, which means not accidental, meeting Julie and opening up this entire new field of dreams. That was an inspired thought. Remember that movie?
Yes.
Kevin Costner. An aside, he actually brought me backstage when he was performing down in Solano Beach. I was there on my birthday. He heard that I was in the audience and he brought me backstage. So anyways, little brag point. Sorry. Couldn't resist. But the what you just saw on Majan's face is the role of dreams to both give and reinforce and support you in your new directions, and inspired action is brilliant. So if you're not a dream believer, or at this point, you should be. I'm on fire. Hold me down.
And so I just, the other thing I want to add about that is that the image that you created in those multiple dreams that you were having with your arms spread out. We could just talk about you as a symbol, opening your heart, opening your arms, giving all of who you are through your gift. I mean, all of it. And so to Marissa's question, the answer is, okay, now you have the image and you keep getting it. So go do it, girl.
Do it. Do it again.
That's right. Now, are you journaling your dreams? Because you should be at this point.
I know. I used to.
Okay. Well, if this isn't a call to action, right?
Yes.
Right.
Definitely.
And you actually get a gift from Julie for being on the show, having your dream, and she's going to gift you a PDF version of her book so that you can have the steps. So talk about, and once again, I'm going to give Julie the Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award for her Asian Oprah giveaway, as well as for Majan, a supportive and celebratory applause as well. Thank you so much for coming on, Majan. I'm going to let you go. And then, because it's my show, I actually have some dreams that I want to have Julie take a stab at. We didn't have time last time, but are you complete, Majan?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Lovely to meet you. And I can't wait to hear your music. I can't wait to hear your
I
music.
know she's on it. She's on it. But thank you so
much
much, Majan, for sharing your dreams with us.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for calling me. It's exactly what I needed. Yeah.
I know. I love it. See, this is what happens. She texted me yesterday out of the blue with all of her who she was voting for. And I didn't ask for that. But, we almost got into it because I'm like, what are you doing telling me what to do? Like, that's the worst thing in the world. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me where to vote. But she had a good purpose in mind, was to support those who support Black and Brown leadership. So, I excused her on that. But what happened was the person that was supposed to come on, who was so excited to come on, she ended up having a conflict. And so she will be here next month, but it created an opportunity. And I said, I wonder who should I, boom, here's the text. From Majan. So, and she doesn't text me very often. So it was really divine timing. Again, hashtag accidental. So that's how that came about. Take care, sister.
I appreciate it. Everything
Absolutely.
For its great purpose,
Yes, for sure.
All
right. Thank you, Majan. All right. And Julie. Okay. I've had literally, I have 20 here. We're not going to have time, but the ones that I can, that are not R-rated, I do have one dream. I lost my microphone at a big conference, and I had repeated near misses, finding it with help from other people. Like, I asked for help and it made things worse. Like, every time I asked for help, it made things worse. So that was one dream. The other one was, I think, an attaboy dream, which was I left my purse somewhere and was returned to me, and nothing was stolen, including the $180 cash that was in the purse. This was the night of my opening night, where I covered at the Newport Beach Film Festival. I got a lot of compliments and positive recognition. And even though I didn't have the press pass that I was supposed to, I was everything just happened so easily. And I was, recognized and given the pass and all of that. So I think those two are related as an attaboy. I'm not sure about the losing something. I had a couple of losing things and not getting help. Another one was, let's see, I went to a bookstore at a conference event, and my books were not there. They only had one copy of my book, and it was a hard copy and was so expensive that people couldn't buy it. And so people couldn't get the signatures that they wanted on the book. So that was another negative kind of thing. So you have 8 minutes to comment on that.
Well, it's a lot. The first one, I would say, actually, I think I'm going to start with the middle one first, where you lost your purse, but it was returned. And the interesting thing, and nothing was taken, everything was still intact. And I think it's interesting that you specifically mentioned that there was $180 in cash, and that was left in there too. Now, again, without getting too technical, all of this is in my book, so people can look all of this up. 180 reduces to 9. And so 9 is a number of endings. And so the idea that I have for that dream is you're asking yourself, I don't know when the dates were, what you would number them, but I would ask you to reflect or invite you to reflect on, have you been thinking about changing anything about your identity? You shared earlier this morning that you'd lost weight. What else? You cut your hair, maybe. What else might you be thinking about that represents the ending of one cycle and the beginning of a new one? So I think that's what that dream is about.
It was October 21st. That was the night. That was the opening night. Does that say anything to answer your question?
Just that you had the dream at an event that was actually happening. And so you said you were well received and got a lot of good kudos. And so once again, I think it's just a question about, is there anything morphing in you that...
Oh, I thought there was a significance of the date of that event. That's why I gave you 10.
Well, just the
21.
timing, what.
Oh,
That's
okay.
Right.
Okay.
In the first one, once again, just like Majan's dream, you said you lost your mic. I mean, once again, that's your voice and your ability to project. It's your ability to be heard to a large audience, a microphone. You're not just up there speaking to a large number. And so you had all these near misses with people helping you, but it was only making it worse. And so once again, if you probably were to examine exactly what was happening that day, it's a matter of, do you feel the people around you are helping? And I would also reflect back on the changes that are happening in your life with your family, your mom, all of those things. And there's a big thing we could probably talk about there with your own ability to express your true identity to her, and that you have to, in a sense, mask. And so the other one, same thing, I think, is the book in the bookstore. I think it's a question. All of these seem to have the same theme. What is my message? And am I getting it out there in the way that's completely authentic? Or is there anything I want to finesse, add, subtract, do differently? Now, we could probably have spent a whole lot of time on each dream, so could you, but that's my treetops response. In all of it, it's, you are a person who's been incredibly successful. Just a little brag thing you shared with us. Most people would dream of those sorts of things. But somewhere, maybe you're saying, do I want to modify in any way what I'm doing to be heard in a different way and get my message out there? So I think that's what your psyche's asking. Does that resonate? Does that make sense?
Total. 100,000% total. And it's interesting because when I first started having the missing kinds of, it's not working, or someone's taking, or someone's embarrassing me, or someone's putting me down. I have those too. I had one here, with a guy, and people are asking if he's attracted to the other woman that's sitting by me, not me, right? And then I had another one. I'm in a small group and I'm ostracized by one woman, and there were 3 men there. I kept trying to help, and it wasn't being received. So there's been more of those kinds of, not meeting, not connecting, ostracized, put down, and I thought at the time that they were reflecting some of the conflict that I'd been having. One in particular, conflict that I was having with someone, and I'm not crazy about conflict. I don't, I teach it. I help people with it. Thank you for that thumbs up. But I'm not crazy about being in the middle of it. And so I thought those dreams were reflecting that. But what's interesting, as you just asked me that question, I didn't think about the new me kind of message, and it absolutely is dead right on, or alive right on the head, because in coming out of that experience, I didn't resolve the conflict, which you think that is the solution. It actually taught me one of the biggest life lessons, which is what you're pointing at, which is I am no longer going to apologize for who I am. And
Give
that
yourself some applause.
okay. And that was such a, it was like a few months. It's been 3 or 4 months of these kinds of dreams to encourage me in a weird way. But until I felt like a turtle that was just like swimming through stuff. And then I finally just popped out with the recognition that in this relationship and the one with my mom and, a few others, the part of me that has been trying it's codependence in a different way. It's not trying to make them happy, but it is minimizing who I am to try to make them more comfortable, and the recognition that it is not my job to make you feel comfortable. It is my job to be who I am in the fullness, not in the perfection of who I am, because I'm imperfectly perfect, and I will step in it, and I will make waves at times that will be uncomfortable as it comes back at me. And my work is to be okay with that discomfort.
Yes.
And that, oh my God, I'm so grateful that I received and can understand that. And thank you, Julie, for nailing that one, because that is exactly what happened. And when I got that a week ago, it was one of those another spiritual awakening, because I grew up really extremely fundamentally evangelical Baptist. I know the Bible and the stories, but that Saul on Damascus, I am allergic to religion, partially because of that upbringing. But that moment that all of those scales fell from his eyes, I was like, wow. I just came in again into the glove. I came in again to the peaceful acceptance of who I am and whose I am in a more powerful way. So, xie.
And that's the power.
Xie.
That's the power of dreams, and you can learn to do it yourself, everyone.
Yes. And we're out of time. I just got the notice. Thank you so much again, Julie. Go get her book, Signs and Symbols. Yes. Everywhere. It's all about balance. Tune in tomorrow for Straight Talk with Sam Works and Dr. Marissa. And we're talking about the different mindsets between men and women. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world. Peace through, inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever. Thanks, Julie Loar.